Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Born to Talk About Sports. I'm your host, Steve Bourne. Today is Tuesday, December the 12th. Exciting night of Monday Night Football last night. A couple of huge upsets with the Giants and Tommy DeVito leading game-winning drive to beat Green Bay. And then you've got probably the bigger upset of the night, Tennessee Titans upset the Miami Dolphins at home. Also, a big night last night. John Tavares, captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs, records point number 999 and 1,000, making him the 98th player in NHL history to record 1,000 points. Not only does he do it at not at home, but at his original home with the New York Islanders, but also the Leafs actually had their dad's trip, and his dad was there, which made it a bit of a I guess what's the term? Uh, story. I guess is probably the best way to put it. Um, and of course, in typical Leaf fashion, they lose in overtime. Just like with Matthews, 4-goal game. What a story to start a career. Lost in overtime. That being said, though, congratulations to John Tavares. He'll always be scrutinized for that $11 million a year contract that Kyle Dubas gave him. But considering he's always been roughly a point a game player in the regular season, in the playoffs not so much. He's come up clutch a couple of times in the playoffs, and the other times he's just pulled full disappearances. That being said, though, 1,000 points in the NHL, only 98 players of the tens of thousands of players who come before during. Not an easy feat. So congratulations to John Tavares. I do want to go back though to the Monday Night Football games, especially the Tennessee Miami game. Tennessee becomes the first team in NFL history to be down 14 points with 3 minutes left to go and win it in regulation. Miami shows that they are basically Tyreek Hill and Hakeem Mostert, and that's about it. Tua has definitely proven that he needs elite receivers. He can't. He's not a Patrick Mahomes who can will a team to an excellent record. Like last year, Kansas City had Travis Kelsey, who was basically the number one receiver, who's also tight end. Who's basically their job is really not to catch but to block. And then they had B level receivers like Juju Smith Schuster. They went on to win the Super Bowl. Miami proves, or Tua Tagovailoa has proven that he cannot win games single handedly, not yet at least. So, do we put the Miami Dolphins on fraud alert? Let's look at their schedule. Next week, they've got the Jets at home. Jets are beatable, but that defense is tough. They were able to shut down the Eagles. They shut down the Josh Allen the Bills week one. They've shut down a few others. Jets are not a pushover, especially if their defense shows up. They upset the Houston Texans this past week. Then they're home to the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are, thank God for them. They're not. It's not on the road. It's not in Dallas. It's in Miami, where Dallas has been about a 500 team on the road. And considering they're spending the week before in Buffalo, and so Dallas is going to be pretty pumped for these two games in Buffalo and Miami. Then they're in Baltimore. Baltimore is looking probably to clinch the number one seed in the NFC or the AFC in the AFC at the time in that first round bye. And then they're home to Buffalo to end the year. Miami's only got a 2-game lead. No guarantee that they win the division right now. Buffalo's coming on strong since they made the offensive coordinator change. They're 2-1 since, and that one loss was to the Eagles in overtime, which was a lot of people heavily criticized the officiating in that. So Miami is they had a chance to win last night, take the number one seed in the AFC, and instead now you're fighting for the division for the final 4 weeks of the year. So for all football fans, that is something to keep an eye on. And now we're talking. I want to talk about the Shohei. I thought honestly when he signed with the Dodgers, I thought this was over. But the Dodgers made it official, and they pulled a bit of a loophole. that sure it's 70 million a year. Uh, Kind of not really. It's 2 million a year for 10 years, and then the next 10 years after that, it's after he retires, it's going to be 68 million a year deferred. So it gives frees up the Dodgers for spending more money, say on Yamamoto from Japan, and possibly other free agents like a Matt Chapman or whoever. So it's a bit of a sneaky loophole. I'm surprised no other teams have either found it, discovered it, or abused it. Because I wouldn't be surprised if um, it's brought up in the next CBA in a couple of years. But it's got a lot of people upset. Good for the Dodgers, good for Ohtani for recognizing it, and Ohtani being a team player with the Dodgers realized he's deferring money, helps the Dodgers spend more, and when the luxury tax hit is higher and higher and higher in 10 years, hopefully, that the luxury tax hit isn't as bad. And if any team can basically pay guys 68 million to sit on his can for 10 a year for 10 years, it's the Dodgers. So I know a lot of people are bitching. When I first saw it, I thought, okay, it's a bit of a cop out, and how is this good for baseball? That's good for the Dodgers. It's not the greatest for baseball because only a few teams can actually do this, and honestly, it doesn't set an equal playing field. But Major League Baseball has never shied away that they are all about New York with the Yankees, Mets, the Red Sox, the Cubs, the Dodgers, the big name franchises. Especially when you have articles that come out on yesterday, saying, "Oh, it's best for baseball to have Ohtani in a big market as opposed to the far off, distant land of Canada." It's good for reporters because they don't have to go through customs. It's good for reporters. It's not great for baseball because you want talent all over the place. You don't want these stacked teams. I mean, hell, the Dodgers apparently have a stacked team, but yet in for a full game season, they haven't won a World Series since 1988. But again, they're going to cruise through that division. The Padres are taking a step back. The Giants, the Diamondbacks, they've lost a couple of pieces already due to free agency. Um, who knows if what we saw with the Diamondbacks last year was lightning in a bottle, or they can sustain it. I hope for their fans, they can sustain it. You got a good young catcher in Gabriel Marino. Hopefully for the Dodgers fans, or not Dodgers fans, Diamondback fans, he develops the way the Blue Jays thought he would. He had a great rookie year, great playoffs, up until the World Series. But let's face it, no one of the Diamondbacks had a good World Series. And so, and then of course you've got the Rockies as well. So that Dodgers should probably clinch that division by, I don't know, the All-Star break at this point. But I hate the idea that it's best for baseball to only have stars in certain markets. I hate the idea because it's not fair to it doesn't create an equal balance. I mean, the NHL has their own problems, yes, but they've got stars all over the place in non-traditional markets. You've got Matthew Kachuk in Florida. Then you've got I'll just say off the top of my head, really one of the top goalies in the league, UC Saros in Nashville. Then you've got you got stars all over the place. And Jason Robertson in Dallas. So you've got stars all over the place. You don't have to have stars just in, say, Toronto, New York, Philadelphia, Los Angeles. I mean, like I said, the NHL has its own problems, but diversing stars, putting stars on every market is it's the best way because it feels like for the fans of those teams they actually have a shot or they've got an equal playing field. And I think that's where a salary cap, baseball owners will never go for it, is because the ones actually have control of the league will never vote for it because then they lose their advantage. So that's how I feel about the Ohtani deal. It's good for the Dodgers, good for Ohtani. Is it good for Major League Baseball as a whole? Probably not, because not unless every team can do it, it's not an equal balance for the league. But we'll see what happens. I mean, Ohtani, they're going to be paying Ohtani $2 million just to DH, no pitching. But again, I just don't like the idea of not every team being able to pull a move like this. But it is what it is. Some tidbits to wrap this one up. Cody Bellinger's fiance yesterday took put on Instagram of her in Toronto, so that's leading to the speculation that the Jays are talking to Bellinger. According to rumors and speculation last year, before he signed the 1-year deal in Chicago, that Cody Bellinger was actually considering the Jays or the Cubs, and he ended up going to the Cubs. Jays ended up settling for Kevin Kiermaier, who wasn't honestly not that bad. Was surprisingly good, considering he was hitting a career. He hit like 230 the last few years in Tampa, and he hit like 260, 270 in Toronto, and still provided the excellent defense. And really, the only time he was ever he spent only 2 trips on the IL, and they were only both the minimum. So something to keep an eye on with Bellinger and the Jays. Rogers does have the money that they could probably pull off something like a deferred payment for Bellinger too. I don't see them doing it, but you never know. Apparently with Yamamoto, it's coming down to the Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers, and the Red Sox. If he wants to win, probably the Dodgers or the Dodgers are, yeah, probably Dodgers are your best bet. Red Sox look like they're in a bit of a retool. Yankees are more than just one pitcher away, considering they've got a pretty damn good lineup, but outside of Garrett Cole, no proven pitching. And then, so yeah, that's all I got really to talk about today on Tuesday, December the 12th. Not much going on tonight in the NHL and NBA. And then just getting ready for the week to come. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think about with the Miami Dolphins choke job last night. John Tavares getting his 1,000th career point on the island, where he played the first 9 years of his career in front of his dad. And also, I just wanted to say a little shout out to the refs for allowing the Leafs' entire bench with 6-7 seconds left, to jump on the ice to congratulate Tavares. Normally, that is a penalty for delay of game. That being said, though, good on the refs for allowing that to happen and realizing the moment. And until then, stay safe out there.